Ladies and gentlemen, please go crazy. Dylan O'Brien, Thomas Brody Sangster, Kayla Scoldolero, Will Poulter, and Wes Ball. Here's the thing. You guys getting used to this? Will's just going, no. Thank you so much for doing this. I got to see the movie yesterday. It's incredible. So congratulations on the film already. It's absolutely stunning piece of work. Maybe you could give us a little insight to anyone who maybe isn't from this planet and has no idea what the Maze Runner is. Give us a very quick synopsis of the movie, if you would, maybe, Dylan.
You literally
Fine,
backstage.
let's move on to Kaya.
He literally just backstage promised me he wouldn't ask me that question.
That's why I did it.
Who knows what the movie's about, or who's read the books? That's awesome.
Well, maybe we should pass it over to Wes, because this is technically his movie, right?
Okay.
That's right. Okay. It's about a group of boys who find themselves trapped inside of a giant maze and have to find their way out through the help of this new arrival, the character of Thomas. And what's out there waiting for them is, scary-ass creatures called Grievers and an insane, enormous, changing maze. And what lies beyond is what we'll find out in the movie.
And maybe you could just talk through... That's it, he's done that before.
I would have talked for like 10 minutes and said nothing.
But they would have loved it, and that's probably the point of it. Maybe you could just give us a little idea of the character of Thomas, and where we find him at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, it starts with Thomas, and you got this is so funny. I can't even hear myself. The movie opens up with the arrival of a new greenie, and that's Thomas, and you sort of experience that through his eyes, and then you're introduced to this world where these two guys have already been living for quite a long time, and basically he starts out as like the newbie. You kind of experience that and what that's like to be the newcomer to the Glade, and then he basically becomes the driving force in what eventually makes these guys attempt to get out, and sort of becomes their unsung hero leader type mother.
We're gonna dub some other stuff in later. It's fine.
Oh yeah. They'll just put some other guy's voice over that.
You kind of mentioned that obviously you meet Will and Thomas's character first on. Maybe you could give us a quick insight into your characters as well.
My character's Newt, and he's second in command. As well, I mean, the crowd already know of it.
Think about all those people watching the podcast who have never heard of Maze Runner before.
Okay, what you didn't hear, Thomas, was there's a woman just down there who just went, "Oh my God, it's so cute!" And that is exactly how she sounded, just in case you were unsure.
No, she rolled her eyes at him.
And what about for you, Will? Maybe tell us a little about your character.
So
Thomas
is
has
Newt.
changed colour.
Well, I play Gally, who is... thank you so much. I'm not sure he deserves that at all, but or me. But I play Gally, who I suppose is the closest thing to the villain in our story. But I guess what we kind of tried to do when it came to adapting the book into the film is just make kind of, the only changes that we felt were necessary in order to make the film better than it was. And I feel like one of those was trying to kind of maybe make Gally a little bit more justified in what he did, a little bit more understandable and a little bit more rational. So he's just less of a douchebag, hopefully, and slightly more justified in what he does as one of the more kind of like senior guys in the Glade.
I was going to say, he's a very interesting character because, like you say in the book, he's the villain, but you actually kind of root for him because what he's trying to do in the Glades is protect everyone else, but ultimately still comes across as the baddie. So that's quite an interesting character to play. And then, Kaya, we were introduced to your character as the only female.
Girl power! I play Teresa, the only girl, and she comes in about halfway through, and she's the only female that's ever arrived there, so they know something's going wrong or that they're being tested in some way, and they don't quite know why. And she wakes up and she immediately feels a connection to Thomas, as you would, and she doesn't know why. It's not romantic anyway. It's a human connection, and they both try and work it out, but they see something within each other that they know that they will get out together, that they will find a way of breaking free.
And in terms of filming this as well, did you come on board into the filming process? Because I know I got the chance to meet Wes and you guys yesterday. So this was only a 2-month shoot. It was like 60 days, and like you say, you come in halfway through the
42
movie.
days.
42 days?
That's right.
Wow. I mean, that's a really fast turnaround. So did you come in at a later stage in filming, or were you...
No, I was there all the time.
whole
I got to chill. I sat by the pool. It was lovely. They were hard at work. I'd have dinner
services.
ready when they came home. It's lovely.
Oh, and what about being amongst a cast of guys? Was it
Look at them.
Yeah.
It was great.
That was such a stupid question, wasn't it? Right. And what about like your character, Will? Because like seriously, I mean, we've met quite a few times before. You've never bought me a drink, and it's fine. But he's quite bulked up in this movie, right? You've changed.
I don't know. I think most of the visual effects budget went on trying to make me look strong. And there's actually this cool moment, like I think maybe it was in the trailer, where me and Dill have kind of like a little kind of like rough and tumble moment, and I push him, but I did not push Dylan O'Brien that far. I can tell you, he was on a crane wire, getting yanked back, and he made me look a lot stronger than I am. But yeah, it was fun playing, I guess, that guy. And one of my favorite scenes is the wrestling scene that we did together as well. It was kind of fun doing that physical stuff, and Dilly nails the physical stuff, so it's fun.
Let's talk about the physical stuff then. I mean, this movie's called The Maze Runner. How much running did you have to do? I mean, Wes, did you see these guys and go run in an audition? Like,
That is
could
the
they
funny
run?
thing, is that I did not think to audition Dylan's running style. Thank God. You look okay. A lot of running in this movie.
Please tell me you didn't do that in the audition.
Well, no, I mean, I just think it'd be funny if that's how I ran, you know? And like, they gave me
we
the
got
part,
a
and then we
problem.
showed up, and I was just like, and they're like,
Did any of you practice running? When you knew you were in this movie, did you kind of do... Because I got to meet Tom Cruise once, right? Ooh, get me. And Tom Cruise genuinely said that he practiced running and the kind of super cool running, because he said if you run too much with your hands in front of your face, the camera can't see you. So he practiced. He worked out how to look cool and run. Tell me you must have tried that.
that's a little too much. No, I don't know. It didn't even occur to me.
I think the thing is that these are real kids. We didn't want them to look like superheroes because they're not. They could be any of us. And I think it would look ridiculous if we all looked like action heroes, because the whole point is this could be anyone whose life has been taken away from them and they have to survive. So obviously they have the instincts and the fire to want to fight, but you know, they've never probably picked up a knife before or had to run and things like that. So I think it's cool that they don't look like Usain Bolt. They're just kids running.
Well said.
Yeah, but that's very much what makes these characters relatable. It does feel like it could be any one of us. And what would you do? And that's what's fantastic about that
there's
first
a
10
grounded
minutes.
kind of realism to this whole thing, and that goes into the style all the way through the story that we were kind of trying to lay out in the movies. It was very much about trying to make a real kind of story and make this maze feel like it was a real place you could go to. That included in the locations and the Glade and all these places. I think that's very well said from Kaya there. Nice.
Where was the set? Where did you guys shoot?
We shot it in Louisiana. It was extremely hot. And it was basically 3 basic locations in the whole movie. The maze, the Glade, which is a real place out there in a cow pasture full of snakes and bugs and all kinds of vicious creatures. And then finally some other location that we won't reveal yet, but you know, something that's a little different looking.
Let me ask you about casting. then.
Starbucks. This is the 3rd location.
Let me ask you about casting. How did you choose these guys?
That's funny. When I read the book, I immediately, actually, Kaya knows this. I saw Kaya as Teresa because I knew her from Skins. So she was like my first choice when I came into the studio. I pointed to this picture of Kaya and said, I want her. And Will was actually the next person that came to mind. And I think I found Thomas really, really quickly, actually, in the audition process. And then Dylan, you're the last guy.
I auditioned Dylan.
Did you audition as well, though?
Yeah.
Did
That's
you
right.
know, though, that they'd
I
come
knew it
to
was him
you?
the second he walked in. I said, "That's him," because he had like a poorly finger, and he was like, "Dude, look at my finger. I've been on a plane, and I'm so great." I was like, "This is the guy."
I think the impression's a little off.
But you almost didn't get the job, right?
Yeah, right? I don't know.
I guess I have to tell this story.
Yeah, I know. Everyone brings it up now.
Okay,
Can we
so-
stop referring to it
So
as
here's
MTV
the thing about the story. It's Dylan's hair. I mean, look at the hair. You can just barely see it, but it's quite an awesome head of hair. But I was just starting out. We had seen hundreds and hundreds of tapes, and Dylan was probably one of the first people to actually audition for this role. He was probably tape number 3 or something, and you might have just got done with Teen Wolf or something, and the hair was, it was Styles' hair, and so me, this new director, didn't know what the hell I was doing. All I could see was, Styles, and I couldn't see the young kind of everyman, the innocent boy that I pictured as Thomas. And so as time went on, I just couldn't find who we were looking for, and the studio said, we did this movie with this boy, this awesome kid named Dylan O'Brien. He was in the internship. You should check him out. And I did a search online for him, and on Google Images popped up, and there's a shot of Dylan with his head shaved. And I immediately said, that kid, he's awesome. This is perfect. And then this told me something, by the way. As soon as I realized that, I remembered his audition. And that told me something. Out of the hundreds of tapes, I remembered his audition, the very first one I saw. And so I went back, this time wiser. I realized I could do something with his hair. And we brought him in, and he became our Thomas. Thankfully.
How do you feel that with the coolest haircut I've probably ever seen? Like, yeah. And you nearly didn't get a job because of your hair. That's mad, right? Look at him.
Yeah, I never think about that.
Let me ask this question to the cast, because this is a first-time director in terms of... That's going to happen a lot, right? This is if you like a first-time director, I know Wes has been in every department of filmmaking, but did you kind of know that this huge movie, this Maze Runner movie, is going to be helmed by somebody who's never helmed such a huge epic event before? How did that make you guys feel as actors?
Well, from the second I met Wes, well, I guess not from the second, but the first time I met...
The second, at least the fifth second.
Yeah, like 5 seconds into it, I was like, all right, there we go. No, the first meeting we had, he spent a couple hours with me just going through his almost a year. I feel like at that point you had already been prepping and
a lot of artwork.
Yeah, a lot of artwork, like a whole binder full of what the world would look like, and he drew a maze, and he had Griever sketches, and I mean just every detail and piece of the book he had already kind of brought to life in this. I could just he just blew me away sort of with his commitment to it, and he's an artistic genius. Also, his short that's online, I don't know if anyone's seen it. It's called Ruin. If you haven't, you should check it out because it's amazing. And he did it by himself for less than $10,000 or something like that. And it literally looks like a sequence out of Terminator. And so I was very comfortable and confident with him going into it. I thought he would make an amazing movie. First time director or not, that means nothing to me.
Yeah. And what about for you, Thomas? Because I know, as well as an incredible actor, I know you've done some producing, stuff like that. So, being in the film industry, not just as an actor, but also as a producer and making your own stuff as well, how did that make you feel?
In terms of Wes?
Yeah.
I
can
was
be
aware
honest.
that I was aware that he was a first-time director, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I've worked with first-time directors before, and they can be great. They can sometimes have stuff to learn, and you can help them along. But as soon as I met Wes, I just realized that the film I'm about to be in is going to be a lot better than I originally thought it was going to be, because this guy is great. I mean, he had everything set out. He's the rendering drawings, like you were talking about, the Grievers, they looked amazing, and that's pretty much what they look like in the film. And it's already he had that in his head. and he wanted us to be comfortable in where we were with the characters and where we were in the surroundings, and encourage us to go off and get to know the surroundings, the locations we were filming in, so we felt comfortable. And I knew that he would be great at the CGI stuff because that's his background, and I saw the ruin the short he did. It's amazing. I just didn't know how he'd be with actors, but he's an amazing man and a brilliant visionary, and I think the film is a success because of him.
And all that has just signed them all up for part 2.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at the movie if we can. Let's show you a quick clip. This is where we meet your character Thomas for the very first time. Take a look at this. So that's the first time in the movie that we meet Dylan's character, but what was it like the first time you all met each other? What was that reaction like?
Verbatim, just like that, actually.
Yeah, all in a treehouse. No, I can remember the first time we all met Kaya, which was, by the way, the most badass entrance you've ever seen, right? And obviously, you know, there's like a certain amount of pressure on
My little cousins are sat over there. Be careful.
Oh, they really? Okay, I will be very careful. No, not that badass. But it's badass, but it's not like, you know, bad.
Will, if we have to, we can cut this.
We can cut this.
I mean,
right.
we're not going
Should
to,
we?
but we can tell Kaya.
Basically, what I'm saying is we were in this, like, in the yard, like throwing around the football or the pigskin, and we were chucking it around. And basically, Kaya swings open the door, and without even any introduction whatsoever, just catches the ball and chucks it back. Better than any of us, and we were like, "Oh my god, the girl's here!" We were like, and she's awesome, and that was it. And she fitted in and was like one of us for the entire time, and just made the experience awesome. So.
All right, Kaya, you can get your own back now. Who was the most annoying on set?
No one was annoying. The funny thing about this, I know actors say it all the time, but we've genuinely become best friends, and it's emotional to talk about because it's not a lie. We really have love for each other, and that's quite rare, I think. But I've never known a group of people to get on so well, and each one has their own personality and has their own little bits, but we have a WhatsApp group that we message every day. We actually like being around each other, and that's kind of the most special thing I've taken from this whole movie. I've got best friends for life, so it's thank you.
But also, what's great is you can see the chemistry between you guys in the movie as well. And you can see in a film if the chemistry isn't there.
I believe
you
so,
can
yeah.
tell. Yeah, completely, you know, and that's what really works in this movie. You're saying it's very hard and where you shot. What was the toughest day of shooting for each of you? We'll start with you, Will.
Start with me. I think probably there's like a final scene in the movie, which obviously I can't talk too much about, but that was a long old day.
It was the last scene we shot too of the entire movie.
Yeah.
Did you shoot relatively in order then?
Not really.
Not too far off though, right? I mean, more than usual.
Yeah, it was basically we shot 4 weeks in the Glade. We shot all the Glade stuff out, and then we went into the maze for 4 weeks, and then we shot our ending, which was important.
Thomas, what about for you? Was there a particular day you were like, I wish this day was over? Because there's some grueling stuff in this movie.
I've got plenty of those.
You're not allowed. You're the director. That's your job. You're supposed to be grilled. What about you, Tom?
I think I remember there were a lot of hot days in the Glade. By the doors, there was a day where it was just unbelievably hot. But I mean, I actually really liked that. I mean, that added to it. You can see like the sweat you see on us is real sweat, and it kind of really, it just adds to our surroundings. And it kind of added to our characters as well. You stand differently when you're in the heat, and you're exhausted. You kind of look different, and so I love that. I would say just when we switched to studio and like third, fourth day into green screen kind of fake battling, I just like that. I much prefer being in something that's real, but actually the surroundings are more harsh, but at least it feels real.
Yeah.
Not the blue screen stuff.
What about you, Kaya? Is there a particular day or scene even?
Well, there's this thing called Magic Hour, and I hate it.
Ah.
It is an hour before the sun goes down, right? That's Magic Hour.
Yeah.
And we wanted to shoot a whole scene in this one magic hour, which is impossible in film. So we did a week of it, and just having to do the same thing. And it was a really energetic scene. It was when we were running and screaming. So we did it every single day for a week, and it was just so repetitive that I fucking hated Magic Hour by the end of it.
You know, you just talked yourself out of any Michael Bay movie. He only shoots at Magic Hour. And what about you, Dylan? Was there a particular moment? I mean, you're in every scene of the film, I think. I was trying to think of a scene that you're not in. Is that right?
There's basically one little shot somewhere in there where the whole movie is told through Thomas's point of view. So almost every scene is with Dylan.
Yeah, so I wanted to kill myself the whole time.
Yeah.
No, you know, like what Thomas said, I completely agree with, and I'm kind of the same way. Like, you know, the more miserable I am, the more I just feel like it adds to it, and I'm just like, yes, this is just helping me, you know, be an actor, a better actor, you know. But I mean, I don't know. There were certain days. The sequence you brought up that we did for the 3 days, you know, doing. There was 3 days that we did one time where I was literally screaming for 3 days, and so by the third day I completely lost my voice, and so now I'm just like having to do the scene, and I'm like saying to Wes, like, you know, he tells me finally, he's just like, it's okay, just you know, mouth it, like, don't even use your voice anymore, and I was like, all right, that, you know, this doesn't bring the same energy, and I like tried it once. I remember talking to you right
all the
after.
way through.
Yeah.
I was just going,
Yeah, literally. I was like, I can't do it. And so I literally just then had to just be like. And I just felt so stupid, and I was so tired at that point. I pretty much blacked out like week 4, and you know, I think that's when my performance really kicked in, though.
Yeah, I think so too.
How annoying is it for like makeup department if you guys are just sweating and you're dirty for real? Because there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot.
No, I mean the 8-week
Oh,
vacation.
really?
Yeah.
Well, they're not sitting there going,
have
"Oh my
to
God,
remove
Connor's dirty
sweat."
again."
It was supposed to be. That was the beauty of it. You cut out 2 hours in the morning of sitting in a makeup chair. You just go and do it. I loved it. It's really kind of freeing to not have to worry about your hair or your makeup or anything like that. Just go be dirty.
But you do get thrown around in the dirt. Does makeup got to then go, hang on a minute, he had dirt there yesterday. We've got to find some dirt and rub it in your face and make sure you look exactly the same. Because continuity when you're fighting and doing that stuff must be really difficult.
It actually like made, for the most part, like made things a lot easier. But it was hilarious because in the first week they started putting on dirt and like additional dirt and mud and spray and all this kind of stuff, and then by like week, you know, 6, we're just not even showering. we're just coming in dirt, and they're like, "You're good, carry on." Like just because you just head to toe and stuff, and it kind of made the whole thing quicker.
You got really tanned as well. Like you
I changed like 3 shades of color. And they started my makeup every day became the cuts. My arms were like completely cut up after the first week. And they ended up throughout the rest of the shoot. They ended up literally like having to just match those. That eventually like the cuts healed and went away, and they would just still draw them on my arms.
We should probably show a clip. Now, I think this is an exclusive clip, so only you guys in here are going to get to see this. I don't think... although we got the director, if the rest of the world wants to beg him and let us show, we can do it. This is the other main character in the movie. This is the first time we see Into the Maze. Take a look. Before we give you guys the chance to ask these guys some questions, just a very quick question to Wes about the effects, because we just saw the maze there. It is a character in itself, if you like. How much of the maze was built? How much is real? How much is CG? How much did these guys have to enact with?
I would say 30% of it's real. You know, the doors we built for real. They were big, giant, 20-foot tall doors. But anytime you see a gigantic shot where we had to actually extend them in VFX, we built a lot of the maze interior. Our first night in the maze with the Griever. That'll be a fun scene for you guys. That was a good part of it was set. You know, a lot of that was extension of VFX. And there's a whole big, giant sequence outside of the maze that's almost 100% VFX. So...
It's great. I was literally showing off to people yesterday going like, you know what, there's hardly any visual effects in this film. It's so built for real. Like, clearly, it's not George Lucas. And then you told me that I just got that wrong.
That's right.
But testament to how visual effects,
Yeah.
how incredibly real it looked.
That's right.
We are going to open it up to these guys just very quickly. Can you call part 2 Glade Runner just for me?
I'll try.
Thank you. I want credit. No. And then the third one, Glade Trinity.
Ooh.
What's your question?
Hello, nice to meet you all. I was just wondering, in Comic Con, you brought up the special effects and how you use like the feet and the legs and to try and act to what's not there. Obviously, there's the doors of the maze and the Grievers are all special effects. And as a computer animating student, I was just wondering any challenges or problems that you may have had while you were trying to film these particular scenes, as now we know most of it was visual effects as well.
Well, first of all, most of it I wouldn't say is visual effects. Like, there's that huge sequence in the maze that's crazy, but the doors, like you just said, that's real. That was there, you know. And that's every time you see the doors closing. Like, maybe if you pan up, right,
It's always a kind of a mix, basically.
Yeah. But shockingly, we always did have like an environment to interact with. So even when we did, we were doing like very VFX heavy sequences. I was surrounded by walls that then I just had to imagine higher, running through a maze or something, or But those doors closing and running through that, like that's that was really there. That's all physical, and I think it was really easy to work with, and I don't know what that tells you, but
we always
it might be a
had
testament to Wes.
like guys in blue suits that they were at least reacting to, so they weren't doing this to nothing. They always had someone they had, and we gave them these silly pool noodles that were swinging around, so their all eyes at least are on something, So that's the trick, is really the eye line, right? When you're doing these animated things. And then it was up to Method and our really awesome team, the VFX team, to kind of make that stuff feel real,
Let's get another question because we only have time for a few more. Let's hit that lady right there.
I was wondering, what was the funniest moment for you guys on set?
I don't know if you heard, but
I will
just went
say,
up.
I will say, I have 20 minutes of gag reels of all the fun, the laughs that we had on set.
Oh, no way.
It's fantastic. You'll see it on the DVD.
I guess very quickly we should really wonder what you were kind of smirking and going about.
Nothing specific, just
Okay.
our entire relationship. Yeah.
We laughed a lot on set, which was fun. It's a very serious movie, but there was a lot of fun had in between takes. It was like they said, they were really good friends, so it was fun.
I was kind of cracking up. Me and Thomas one time leaned in to kiss each other and
That's on the DVD.
totally played chicken, and you got me. I eventually couldn't do it. It was so funny.
That's got pre-orders of the DVD even higher, isn't it? Do you know what? The movie is out in October the 10th. We've got a little while to wait here in the UK, but I saw it yesterday. It is absolutely stunning. Will you please join me in thanking all of our guests tonight? You guys have been incredible. Wes! Will! Thomas! Kaya! And Gillen!